what you're going to find is that super educated people make horrible entrepreneurs. Okay. So,
Mm,
because learning is a cycle, it's a pattern, it's a habit, and you become addicted to learning. It's like the people who go into a bookstore and they buy the books, but they never read the books, or
mm.
someone who's taken another class and another course and another course and another course. It's learning is just a lifestyle. And once you get good at learning, good at testing, good at retaining information, you become almost like an attention or an information whore.
Mental toughness.
Listen, stop feeling sorry for yourself. But come on then, what's wrong with you?
Mental toughness mindset.
I had to go to grow.
Covers up. The big happens. The big happens. Martin Luther King.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
All right, so welcome to another episode of the Elite Psyche, the Mental Toughness Show. We're not doing the POD anymore. We're the big show. And what we do here is interview people who had success in life, and we know that those people have gone through some challenges, and they have to be mentally tough and have this particular elite psyche to get through some of the challenges, because most folks quit. They just drop off and quit. So that's what we do. Now, we do interview a lot of other people too, because lately we've been doing a little dating stuff and talking about that and all that. But mainly it's we talk about the mental toughness part and some of the challenges you go through to win. And my co-host, my guest and co-host, so I will be interviewing her tonight, and also we'll be talking about a couple of topics after we do the little interview. So she's the guest and the co-host tonight, Miss Natasha Cozart. I call her the Wizard of Cozart.
Listen.
And, but wait a minute,
There you go.
Who told you to wear black tonight? I'm the only guy that wears black.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Great minds think alike.
Okay, there you go.
That.
There you go. So, Ms. Cozart, tell everybody what you're doing now, and if you want to talk about where you're from, or just kind of give us a little.
Well, no, thank you so much for having me, Mr. Fleming. I've been a big admirer of you. You've mentored me over the years, and it's just been an honor to grow and learn from the system and the elite psyche that you've even shared over the years. But yeah, I'm doing what as a result of actually a lot of the things that I've learned from those mental toughness sessions, those morning mindset sessions. And that's literally just finding and drilling into who I am and what my purpose is. And what I'm finding is that there's a balance for me between corporate business marketing and then creative arts and entrepreneurship. And so I've really just been balancing the two of those. And this has just been a great season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Now, that was great.
Okay.
Very, very corporate type conversation. Now, tell us what you really do.
What I really do. Okay.
Yeah, because you told me a lot about at one point, this was last year sometime, you were doing a lot of stuff dealing with was it SEO? You weren't doing SEO though.
So let's just start from the beginning. Okay.
All right. Okay.
No, literally. So what I was in a marriage for 11 years. And during that time, I was able to earn 2 master's degrees while managing an abusive marriage, in addition to having 6 children.
Nobody believes that.
Yes, I got 6, baby. A whole starting lineup plus the sub. Okay. And so during that time frame, I realized something about me is that I had spent a lot of time that I'd wasted in insecurity, in procrastination, in laziness. And I accomplished more while I was having babies, in graduate school, earning degrees, managing a household. I started a business. I was able to do so much more during that time than I had felt like I had done in the previous 20 or 30 years of my life. And so as a result of that, the marriage, of course, was 11 years. And there was a time when I had to decide for myself to put me first, and not allow anyone to put me under their foot, under their thumb, to control me. And I couldn't articulate those things at the time. I just knew I can't take this anymore. And so the moment I was able to fight back and fight for myself, um, I was able to not only establish my own business, which one of my businesses is marketing, but I was able to really not only do that, but to be able to manage my 6 kids, keep them in private school if I wanted to have them there. I was able to earn more money for my clients than I have ever done before. Even during COVID, in about 10 months, I really was almost broke. Probably $925,000 that I earned for another client. And that's just off of marketing, off of sales, off of my career abilities. And so just seeing that, but knowing that being able to do it for other people is one thing, but what can I do for myself? And what I've learned is that I've spent a lot of years hiding behind other people, hiding behind their gifts, and say, okay, I'll be your helper. I'll be your cheerleader. I'll be your team member. I'll come along and support you. But whenever that table was turned and I had to look at my own self, look at my own greatness, and honor and acknowledge who I am, that's probably been my biggest struggle. So probably the past 2 or 3 years, that's been my fight. Not fighting with a client, not fighting with a customer, not fighting with a spouse. There's no one else to blame. It's just me. Um, yeah.
Some good stuff. So nobody believes that though. So you're gonna have to send me a picture of your 6 kids. So
yes,
when we edit this, we're gonna put that
listen,
up.
and I got the stretch marks to prove it. But if you could, let me
wait a minute.
You don't want to see these hips. You know what I'm saying?
That's TMI. Okay, I got
you. You know, the ladies on here understand. They know.
Okay.
We've been through. We got the war wounds.
So, master's degree. So, are you actually using that when you started a business? Because I have a friend of mine. Actually, he was a guest host, also Mark, and he said that he didn't have a degree, but he was good with his technical skills. I don't know.
Well, I was doing that. I didn't have a degree. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I was working for companies. I could not work for companies because I didn't have a degree. But I learned that if I owned my own company, I could work for them as a contractor and charge them 3 times more. Hope somebody gets that.
Wow.
I literally could not work for many of the companies that I contracted with because I didn't have a degree. Okay. And so with that said, I learned very, very quickly about the power of having a business.
By you starting a business, are you still using the master's degree? Or I'm sure that's a part of the title when you put out your business. But I mean, listen, did you work corporate America with the master's degree and then? Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. I don't know if you.
So what you're going to find is that super educated people make horrible entrepreneurs. Okay. So because learning is a cycle, it's a pattern, it's a habit, and you become addicted to learning. It's like the people who go into a bookstore and they buy the books, but they never read the books, or someone who's taken another class and another course and another course and another course. It's learning is just a lifestyle. And once you get good at learning, good at testing, good at retaining information, you become almost like an attention or an information whore in a lot of ways, where people are just gaining, but they make horrible entrepreneurs because when you're learning and you're in a learning environment, someone's telling you, someone's teaching you, or you're having to react to the situation or the environment that's at hand. Entrepreneurship is a completely different boat. It requires you to be self-led, self-motivated. It requires you to do something out of nothing. And it requires you to put paint where it ain't. And education doesn't always give you that, or being in courses and classes doesn't always give you that freedom or liberty because you're following a curriculum. And so one of the biggest struggles for me, and I will say probably the first 5 to 7 years of my business was me almost quitting every 3 or 4 months. I was done. I was like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this, because I was waiting on my Mr. Right. I was waiting on my Prince Charming to come sweep me off my feet and ride me off in a white horse, take care of my kids, take care of the bills. And all I got to do is sit around somewhere and be cute. You know what I'm saying? Slip on my little, you know, some Holy Ghost mimosas, some virgin mimosas. Go to church on Sunday, do my wifely duties. And that was not my testimony. So I had to fight against that. And when I tell you I quit almost every quarter, I quit. I was like, I can't do this. This is just not me. And I would offload my clients. I would get a project done and I'm like, I'm done. I'm never doing anything else. I shouldn't have to do this. And then, you know, the bills time, it comes time for the bills to be paid. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll go back in, or I guess, you know, someone would refer me, and then I get sucked into it. And that's literally the cycle. Education does not prepare you for entrepreneurship all the time.
Yeah, my niece graduated and she went and got her master's. Where was she? She was in Jersey at Rutgers, and then she was getting ready to go get another. And my uncle said, "Wait a minute. You can't be a professional student. You got to get out here and start getting into the money and start doing some things." Because, like you said, you get into the learning thing, and you just want to get another one and another one. So typically, you know, I talk about the inbox thinkers, the status quo, which is the go to school, get a good education, go get a good job, get a master's degree or PhD. And then if you want to make part-time money, FedEx or UPS, got to be the big companies, Delta. And then, you know, anything outside of that is outside the box. And so when you start doing things like that, the inside the box thinkers attack you. Oh, you doing something you shouldn't be. So I'm sure with all the degrees you had to be attacked by all the inbox thinkers saying, why are you doing that?
Yeah, but Mr. Fleming, it wasn't just the inbox thinkers, because I can handle them. It's the inner, it's my inner dialogue that was more sabotaging. It was me sabotaging myself.
Look at you.
Let's talk about that.
Because that's the biggest enemy. The enemy is the inner me.
That's correct.
The biggest enemy, and that enemy on the inside is talking to you like this all the time. What are you trying to do? I know you ain't trying to do business, are you? What?
Yeah.
You're trying to do business? We don't do business. We go get good jobs. I know you can, and I don't knock a good job. I don't knock a job, period. I think if a person wants to get a job and they work and it works for them, that's great. But some people it just doesn't work for. Some people just will grab a lawnmower and cut grass before they go back to doing something that they really don't feel comfortable doing. So tell us how you worked on that enemy, besides getting on the morning calls that I had every morning and the mindset training. Besides all of that, what else did you do to work on that enemy?
I had to fail. I had to fail a lot of times. I had a lot of bad conversations with clients that were unhappy with.
Wait a minute. Val, let's hear some bruh. She over there. She I'm gonna have to get my own voice over here the next time. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I had to fail. And being a professional learner, getting caught in that learning loop, I was used to making A's and mastering content, mastering materials. But when you actually begin to apply it and live it, it's something completely different. And so I was afraid of failure. And that fear of failure paralyzed me and caused me to procrastinate and to not follow through on a lot of the dreams and thoughts and ideas that I've had. And so what would happen is I would put something out, or I would make an attempt at a project. And when it didn't go as planned, or when I didn't get the immediate result that I wanted, or the response that I thought was warranted, then I would basically be willing to go in the hole for a project and not turn a profit just because of fear, and allow things to flop. I would take on projects with clients and without acknowledging my true limitations and and have those conversations where, you know what, you did not deliver, this was not on time, I'm not happy with this, I'm not pleased with that, and thinking, but no, but this is, and feeling like it's personal, and wondering, okay, am I really meant to do this? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? See, I wasn't supposed to be doing this anyway. I hate this.
Right,
and then
right.
I would quit. Yeah. And having those moments of conflict, where I don't see where I didn't see my, what do you call them? Blind spots.
Okay.
There were areas. See, there's a difference. Sometimes people keep going around saying that I'm just being misunderstood. People don't get me. They don't understand me. But really, a lot of times those are blind spots, that every criticism isn't 100% negative. There's always an element of truth in the criticism that you receive. And so the question becomes, how can you find the truth in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the criticism, in the midst of the failure, and build upon that so that you can become better and not repeat the same mistakes over and over?
So were there people giving you constructive criticism that you ignored, or what?
Oh, and it wasn't constructive. People wasn't always constructive, and it wasn't always good or positive. Like even within my divorce, that was the biggest fight of my life. I had never been through that much arguing and pettiness and back and forth, and you get on my nerves, and just purposely trying to do something, wishing someone would not be alive or wishing harm on them. We even got into a fist fight, where I was defending myself, and I ended up getting put in jail for the first time in my ever life. Yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
How? He said
because
you attacked
he lied.
him?
Yep, he lied.
But usually the cops believe the lady. They don't.
It was a woman cop. It was a woman cop.
Oh, wow.
And he lied, and he had one of the kids lie for him.
So they came to the home. It was
we were at Publix. Okay, so you want to talk about ratchet?
No,
ghetto?
I wouldn't. No, wouldn't. Yeah, give me another bruh, because that was
Bruh.
You was in Publix.
Hey, I have been the girl where they be like, ooh, getting their phone out, watching ghetto ratchet. You don't know. Listen,
were you in line or one of the aisles? Were you in line?
We were outside in the parking lot.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Got ugly.
Yes. Yeah, because I didn't know how to handle that level of stress, pressure, and once again, when you have conflict with someone, it's not that person is always wrong. Yes, there's an element of truth, and so I had to realize, okay, Natasha, you got too many triggers. And why is it that when he says this, you respond that way? Why does it even matter what he says? Why does it matter what he do? Why do you have to control everything? Why is this even an issue?
Wow.
And so I had to deal with me.
And you learned, well, I don't know if you got 100%. I mean, you've 100% changed, but you currently dealing with yourself, or do you feel like I'm good? I've defeated that demon.
I feel like my issue now is that I have literally eliminated almost every trigger that produces a toxic or negative behavior. But my issue now is reestablishing vulnerability, because now I have built up such a media face and a politically correct way to say things and to be and behave, that it's very hard for me to trust, to let my guard down and be genuinely vulnerable. Does that make sense? Because I can be vulnerable to a certain extent, but you're not going to get in here to the point where you're going to be able to break my heart.
Wow. Wow. So, by the way, though, if anybody have footage of that Publix, send it to me. If you see her, say, "That's that lady." Yeah. Make sure you send that to me.
Listen, and it's been and that was just the one that the police was actually called on. It's been so many little situations, and I didn't know I was petty. I did not know I had a petty bone in my body, because I would just pray it away. I'm like, Lord Jesus, I'm gonna go on this fast, and I'm gonna just trust the Lord, and I'm gonna turn the other cheek, and I'm gonna be silent and allow a soft answer to turn away wrath. I was like, Oh, you got something to say? Oh, I'm gonna clap back. I mean, I turned into full-fledged black girl. Tasha showed up.
Did Tasha show up?
Tasha Mo, yes.
So
Tasha
do you
from
guys
Memphis.
talk now?
Oh yeah, we're great at co-parenting. We're great at.
Wait a minute. You say Memphis?
I was born in Memphis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you already know, a little country, a little crazy. You know what I'm saying?
At borderline of Memphis and Mississippi, I called it Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
Don't tell me you lived in North Memphis. Just don't tell me that. Then everything
It
else.
was North Memphis.
Oh wow.
Yep. And so what I always say is that I know how to manage my crazy. So, but on any given day, you might get 4%.
You might get 4% of it.
You might get 4%.
Okay.
And that's as far as I'll let it go. I might get to a 6. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get all the way crazy. I know how to handle it. But
did you say y'all conversing now? Y'all talking or what?
Oh yeah, we do great with co-parenting now. I mean, because he's remarried. So now that he's remarried, he's the best version of himself, which is great. And I can handle that. And once I got over the fact that this woman is taking my ready-made family on, I was like, ma'am, and it used to be very difficult because I was like, I built this family, I trained him, and I made this, and you just riding off into the sunset. But go ahead on, boo, do your thing, because she's a very sweet young lady. I have no complaints or arguments about her at all whatsoever.
Okay, good.
She loves my babies.
Okay. So somebody listening, and what do you do that just a person can say, okay, these are 2 things I can help you with? What would I know? I talked to you maybe 2 years ago, and you were talking about. Did you do editing also?
I do. So I do marketing, but a part of marketing. So marketing is really all about not just making a connection with people, but building that relationship and allowing it to progress over time. It's just like meeting someone that you're attracted to and you're thinking, wow, I could see myself being with this person for the rest of my life. But that relationship doesn't just happen overnight. You have to be intentional about getting to know them, spending time with them. It's not just one-sided, it's two-sided. And then there's got to be levels of commitment that ascend, that grow over time. And so that's the same thing I do with marketing. You are attracted to a specific product or service for different reasons. It could be that you have an issue, a pain point, and that business or that product solves your problem and it eases your pain, or it makes you happy, it makes you laugh, it brings you joy, or whatever it is, but it's a solution. Every business is a solution. Every product is a solution. And the potential customer or client is ultimately attracted to it. But what happens with many people is they never show up. It's just like the woman who wants to be married, but she never leaves her house. What does she think? The men are going to just come by her front door and knock on, hey, I'm looking for a wife. Right. Well, you gotta get up, you gotta put some clothes on, do some makeup, do some hair, pull yourself together and show up in a space where you can be seen and connect with people. And that's literally what a lot of people, they never do. They never tell someone that, hey, I have a business, I have a product, I have this thing, I have this book. And so I help kind of push people out of the nest and get them out there. A lot of times that's social media. And then once you're out there, it's all about building that relationship. It's not just one-sided, but it's two-sided. And building a relationship with people. Yeah.
How would you get me out there with my show, with the Really Big Elite Psyche show? What would you do first to get me out without hitting me across the head with a bat? Because I think I talked to you maybe 2 years ago, and you hit me with like a $50,000 bill or something. You said,
yep.
I'm like, so I'm like, let me call you right back. No, I thought it was for one day or something. You hit me across the head.
But you know how much money you would have made on top of that if you would have did what I told you.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. So
the first thing I would do. The first thing I would do with Elite Psyche would be the first thing. If you go to RuPaul's Drag Race or if you go to Tyra Banks, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to give you a makeover. They're
Okay.
going to fix your outer exterior, your appearance. They're going to comb your hair, probably color it,
Right.
dye it, do some
Right.
things. They're going to give you a new wardrobe, get rid of all your old clothes. And so I would say start with your brand. What do you look like? Yeah.
Okay.
Start with your brand, start with your logo, start with the design, the elements of things.
Which by the way, I don't really have a logo. I just got
Mm-hmm.
that Elite Psyche, which I consider my logo, up in the corner of the screen there. But I
Mm-hmm.
really don't have. I started on creating one, and then
Mm-hmm.
we stopped because I went back and forth. So I never did really. And I said the other day, I said that might be my logo, but I'm sure you're gonna say that's not a logo.
That's not. It is for now.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. You know, I've been looking
Mm-hmm.
at it for a while. I think Valerie created that for me. So, but that was just, you know, to start the
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So she put it. So I never really designed the logo yet. And
Yeah, you like the lady who wear cornrows, like set it off, and then it just go on an old wig when she got to go to the grocery store. It works, you know.
okay, do I need
She got
a
a little
Elite
synthetic
Psyche?
wig on. It's all good.
Do I need an Elite Psyche website also?
It would be great to have some sort of connectivity between the things that you do and the services that you provide. So without knowing the details of all of that, I will say just in general, having connectivity is very important so that whatever business you have is aware that, okay, you have a podcast and that people on the podcast are aware of your business. And just making sure there's some connection.
Okay, so can I have any fun on my social media? Because at one point, Instagram was kind of Elite Psyche. My Facebook was kind of, so now my Instagram, I just have fun. I put up all kind of stuff. Do I have to be on every social media post Elite Psyche? Do I have to be?
I think once again that goes back into your strategy. So I would have to just know more about where you're headed and what your goals are. So because that could be yes or it could be no. But typically having a diverse array of conversation, of communication is really important. You know, if you go to a networking party and as soon as I show up, I shove a plate of food in your face without even saying hello, asking your name, asking you how you're doing today. That's going to be pretty rude. But that's what a lot of times people do. They just shove food in people's faces all the time. They're like, oh, are you a chef? Like, do you cook? Are you a nutritionist? Like, nope, this is just what I had to eat yesterday. Like, that's so irrelevant. That has nothing to do with what.
We used to say in our business, I guess we still say it in our network marketing business, that somebody asks you a question, asks you for a glass of water, you stick a fire hose down in.
Exactly.
I just wanted a glass of water. I don't want you to fire hose me in here, So
Yes.
That's kind of like what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying that there needs to be a natural progression. Just because it's digital doesn't mean you lose any common sense. So you meet someone for the first time, say hello. Hey, how you doing? Good to meet you.
Speaking of that, we've been talking lately a little bit about dating and stuff. So what's your thinking on dating apps? Do you use dating apps?
Yes.
You do?
I just started probably 30 days ago on a dating app.
What's your experience so far?
I've met some really nice people. I have. But partially because I don't spend a lot of time there and I limit my interactions. So I'm not going to have more than 10 names in my inbox that I'm looking at or communicating with, because that's just overwhelming. And then I start weeding them out.
Yeah, I heard about that. I've never seen a dating app, never been on, but I had a partner of mine said that he would leave and come back and it'd be like 60 likes or something. He's like, I can't respond to all those people. I can't. It's just too overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming.
So what about your Instagram DM? Do you get hit?
Not as much anymore. So one of the things that I started doing, or I stopped doing, is I took a break from really just sharing my everyday life. And one of the things about my everyday life was my workout schedule. And so I would post myself working out or in the gym or different pictures. And I realized that my followers were not my target audience. So I'm getting these thirsty deacons and people's uncles showing up. And I'm like, hey, beautiful. I don't need no more hey, beautifuls. I mean, if I didn't get a proposal within a week, like, what is going on?
So after a while, you think your name is Hey Beautiful.
Exactly. So I'm like, I don't need no more Hey Beautiful. So I stopped sharing my workout stuff because I wanted to stop attracting that kind of attention. Yeah.
You know, I had a lady I interviewed earlier today, and she said that her successes and her customers are not her followers. She said a lot of her customers are not even on social media. And that's interesting. I don't know with you, how does that?
My corporate clients are not. They are not at all. And actually, I'm on LinkedIn, and we may connect, but their LinkedIn is typically bare minimum, nothing there.
Like, so tell me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was just saying the truly wealthy that are in a corporate context are very, very cautious about their public persona. Yeah.
Okay. So who needs to be on LinkedIn? Because I'm not on LinkedIn.
Business professionals. So if that's your audience, it also can help you, find jobs, network, and connect with people. So it's definitely like the work social media.
I young lady who's helping me with my book, she's telling me, I'm coming out with a book on sales. And she said, you definitely need to be on LinkedIn because the people there, the business-minded people, not only that, they let you come speak and things of that sort because you got a book. And what do you think about that? Do you think all speakers should have a book?
I think everyone should write a book.
Okay.
I believe it's a part of you documenting your journey. And so I teach a concept called Preach Your Book, where I used to help pastors structure their sermons over, 3 or 4 months so that they would basically preach everything that they're going to be including in their book. And then we just transcribe and edit it. And, that's the book. But what I found for most people, that concept works, that if you don't like sitting down to write in a traditional sense, dictate your book. Talk about it, talk through it.
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing.
Episodes. Yeah. You can do it like this podcast, you can do it live, or you can just do it in front of a friend, but just record it. Even if you need to have someone ask you questions and say, okay, here's the top, 20 things I want to talk about, or the top 10 things, just ask questions regarding
those. That's what she did. Yeah, that's what she did. She videoed me. It was asking questions. So what do you think about people using AI to help them with the book?
I love AI. I love AI because number one, it's a time saver. But one of the things that you've got to do is you've got to do what we call spinning. So what I used to do with articles, I used to write articles for people who blogged, and I would write one solid article, maybe 300, 500 words. And then I would spin the article, which means it's the same concept, the same premise, the same flow, but I would change the order of the sentences. I would change the words. I would change the nuances so that I would change just maybe one slight emphasis. And so that way I would have one concept, but I would have 5 different articles off of one concept. So they're technically the same article, but not exactly the same article. And AI could do that for you in a fraction of the time it used to take me to do that. And so what you've got to do is when you utilize AI, you've still got to spin it and put your sauce on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you still got to go through.
Make sure that they feel that, because they don't want to seem like a, now my strategy is to come out with my sales book first, and then next will be a mindset, like a mental toughness book. And then the third one could be kind of my life. Now, one of the challenges with that, I really, because when you write something about you and your life, people want the tea. And you can't, I got family members that I can't really say anything because I know they'll be pissed if I put some of the real stuff in the book. I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, how would your ex feel if you put all the tea in there about all the publics and the arguments, What do you think he would feel about that?
I think you would have to get their permission, number one, if you use their names or use different names in order to say things without people's permission. But I also believe, for me, some of those things I really just don't need to say, you know?
Really?
Um,
I thought that's what
mhm,
the book is about. You got to be your honest to God truth. I know, for example,
mhm.
I would never get permission from my mother if I was to say, "Mom, I'm gonna put some of this in the book." She would never give me a permission on that.
Yeah.
So, am I really telling my story, my truth, if I'm not putting some of the stuff in there that really happened?
I think there's a way to communicate it without incriminating anyone or without tearing down anyone. And one of the things to me about the past, I believe, is never a place of pity, but it's a place of prosperity. It's something that you use to elevate you to move forward. And so, a lot of times when people write those books or when they do that thing, they're doing it from a place of, I'm gonna set the record straight. I'm gonna let everybody know, and they
Cat
don't care.
Williams,
Yeah, they don't care who they drag down in the process. And
right?
I believe that's very messy and that has no benefit to anyone besides just being a gossip blog. You might as well be a gossiper. Um,
Well,
mm,
all the people, well, I'm not gonna say all, but
mhm.
you got 80%, I would say, that's on the social media, on the internet, that is praising Cat Williams for, because they say, well, people said that about him, and now he's just coming back and telling the truth. So what do you say about that? If people have said stuff and then you write a book and you want to tell the truth about that, should you still, in your opinion, I know, what's your opinion on that?
Mhm. I would never address a lie. To this day, I have learned from, especially from my past and my previous experiences, the energy that I give to a thing gives it life. So if
Wow.
it's a lie and if it's untrue, why would I feed it to make it to extend its life? No,
Well,
thank you.
you got people saying that if you don't address a lie, it becomes the truth.
That's not true.
Most people eyes.
It's not true. That's not true at
Really?
all. Mm-mm. And so anything that's legal or in a court of law, things may need to be documented, but I don't have to give my energy and attention to that thing. When you're writing a book, you are going deep. You are, it takes you somewhere. And it takes you to a very, you live in the state, you almost are reliving these experiences again. And so, what I encourage people to do is to do what we call like a personal timeline and a personal history, and almost go back in your life and find those five and maybe 5 to 10 different pivotal moments during each season of your life, your adolescence, your teenage years, your adulthood, your early adulthood, middle age, older life, and do a timeline and mark those things that were life changing or defining moments, and then write down 3 lessons that you've learned from each one of those. My professor in grad school, his name is Dr. Gray, Dr. John Rick Gray. He had us do that, and it changed my life. I'll forever look at the past differently, because now, instead of that just being a point of pain or a point of trauma, now I'm like, okay, what 3 things did I learn from this? And if my children were to see this or read this or to know about it, what would I want them to know from this experience to move forward? What would I want them to know about me moving forward? And so that's how I view the past. So my recommendation, even just in your memoir, would to be not necessarily, I mean, until you become like a New York Times bestseller, writing a
Mm-hmm.
memoir will only be significant for the people who know you, like
You.
you, and trust you already,
Right,
right?
right, right.
So I believe, like, even in your empowerment book, why not just use
Add some
specific
of those in
stories?
there.
Yeah, just add stories. And I mean, I know this is not a consultation session and you didn't
No,
ask
no,
me
no,
about your
no,
book.
no. But I appreciate that,
Uh,
because I mean, really, who wants to hear
mhm,
about my life? So that
yeah.
third book could be
Mhm.
gone. So I can
No,
insert. That's great.
it's not gone. I believe your books are empowerment series, because even though you do well in sales, you do well in business, your strength, your calling card is empowerment. And so why not make an empowerment series, a 3-volume? The first one can be empowerment for business and sales. The next one is empowerment for a different group, and empowerment for another one. And you share your stories throughout that. Some of your personal stories.
Guess what it's called?
What?
First book, My Truth on Sales. Second book, My Truth on Mindset and Personal Development. Third book, My Truth. So it's all about my truth. I'm gonna give you my truth. I don't know what everybody else's truth is, but I'm just telling you, like mine, like sales. People got all kind of ideas about sales, and people have all kind of stories. Now, I've been in sales 30 years, always from the Atlanta Journal to AT&T to home-based businesses. So my whole life has been commission sales. So I've never really had a salary job. Even when I started at AT&T, it was commissions because they were changing over to another department, and they gave us that option. So I've always, but I'm saying it's my truth on sales, because I hear all kind of, like, it's 9 myths that I hear that I want to talk about in the book, that this is my belief on that, and this is what happened to me on that. So
I still feel like we need to do something a little different with the title. That the title should be something that people see themselves in. Right now, your title is My Truth, which is about you. The book needs to attract other people so that it's about them. Does that make sense?
Wow.
And then you can have that as a subtitle, but I think you should play with that a little bit more. Play with the title.
Well, you're gonna have to. Well, you're gonna charge me for that. See, you can't throw that out there and get my head like, okay, I got to come up with the titles, and then you won't give me any. You got to throw some out there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, have you read Seth Godin's book, The Linchpin?
Wow. I've read all his, not most of his books, but I hadn't read that one.
Yeah.
I love the Purple Cow. Did you read that one?
I did. But the linchpin is all about making yourself indispensable. That's just what I did.
Yeah, you just did. You got me on that one. Yeah, you got me on. So out of everything you do, what do you think, and what have your close associates or your friends tell you that you're the best at? And what do you feel like you are the best at?
I am the best at strategy.
Okay, give me an example.
The best at strategy, taking you from 0 to 100 in 60 seconds or less, basically. So if you have an idea for business, or if you already have a business that's going forward and you want to know, how do I get more customers? How do I get more visibility? How do I take this thing to the next level? That's what I do well. I do really well with creating campaigns that allow you to not only get visibility, but build that relationship and convert them into customers. Yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of smoothly said to me, nobody wants to hear your truth. I believe you. They don't want to hear my truth. They don't want to hear my story. I got that. I'm not like a TV star or something. Yeah. So I mean, I appreciate that. That's some good insight. And that's when you said strategy. That's some real good insight on that. I appreciate that.
And that's the strategy, is to flip it so that they see themselves in it. And because they're thinking about their marriage, they're thinking about their money, they're thinking about their lack or their struggles. And then when they meet you, they're like, oh, Mr. Fleming can help me with my stuff. They don't care about you. And then they come and say, well, Mr. Fleming, what do you think about? And then when you say that, when they ask you the question, then you're able to tell a story that leads them to principles that they can apply in their lives.
Okay, so I had like a little struggle with wanting, because person that's helping me wanted me to put my picture on the book. I didn't want to have my picture on the book. What do you think about that?
Yes, use your picture, especially your first book.
Why?
Because don't nobody know you.
But they don't want to. They don't want. Who is this guy? I don't know why I want to. Well,
They don't know you. So it's a catch-22. They don't know you, but they need to know you. So it's for branding purposes. If you look at every New York Times bestseller right now, that is somewhat of a first book, or that entry where the author is entering into the marketplace, their face is on the book.
The book.
You just follow it's a formula. Do what they do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
All right. You know a little something.
Yep. A little something.
I got you. A little something. Okay. All right. So Valerie, let's watch this first clip, and we're gonna come back and talk about it. So whatever you have, either one of them doesn't matter.
Time is the currency we're playing with in every moment of our lives. It's the center point of our influence. I talk about the roulette table of my life. It's a frame I think through where we wake up in the morning with these 24 chips. If you spend 8 hours sleeping, you wake up with 16 chips left. And how you place those chips on this roulette table that sits in front of us determines all of our outcomes in our lives. So I've chosen now to allocate 2 chips to fitness. The roulette table spins and I get my returns. In the context of time and death and time management, the most important question to answer, the fundamental, is discipline. How can I allocate more of these chips to the things that are in line with my values? Where does this thing called discipline come from? If it underpins everything we do.
Okay, so this thing called discipline, where does that come from? Because he's lining up everything and he looks at his hours of sleep, and he got 16 more hours. He does the workout. But then you got to be disciplined on everything else. And how do you become that? Where's the thing to discipline? And by the way, that's one of my favorite podcasts. I'm gonna list about maybe 8 or 9 on one day. I love that guy. He's in the UK. I think he's the #1 podcast in the UK.
Wow.
But what do you think about that? Where's discipline come from? And where's the thing called discipline? How do you get it? Do you have it?
I think it comes from routine and repetition. So discipline, I believe, is a seed that is sown from motivation, but that seed will not grow unless it is cultivated and nurtured. And so if you're not adding repetition and consistency to that, you won't have it at all. Yeah.
So where are you with that? I mean, seriously, would you say that's one of your challenges, or is that something that you like? Do you have a consistent routine every morning when you wake up? Is it certain things that you do that you make sure that you can, I guess they call it consistently do, whether it's discipline or not, you're consistent with what you're doing? Is it something that you do, a routine?
Yes. So in theory, yes. On paper, yes. In actuality, it's a little bit more challenging for me than it is for others, just because I have 6 other people in my household that I have to manage and that have issues. Somebody's sick, or somebody's tired, or somebody needs this. So even though I may have a schedule, my schedule is very often irregular. But if I look at not on a day-to-day, but if I look at on a month-to-month or a week-to-week basis, very much so. Very much so. So for me, first thing I wake up, it's going to be prayer, meditation. After that, I'm hitting the gym. After that, I'm coming back, I'm eating, and I'm spending time with kids and family. After that, I'm shower, makeup, get myself ready. After that, I'm sitting at my desk ready to work. And, then I work throughout the day. After that, it's family time. After that, I'm typically knocked out by like 9. Yeah.
So you hit the gym every day?
Yeah, in theory, put it that way, in theory. So when
what does that mean?
when my life is flowing the way that it's supposed to, without all of the travel and some of the other things that have happened recently. But yeah, I'm a 5 to 7 days a week gym kind of girl.
Wow. Free weights?
Free weights. Yep. I might do a spin class, or I might get on the bike and row, or, I might do some, do some other cardio stuff. I may go outside and run on the track, or, do some stuff outside, but I am super duper active. Yeah.
I used to run a lot, but my knees say you can't run now. So I walk the Chattahoochee Trail. But
Yeah.
Hey, I get in, like when I walk it, I try to do it 4 days a week, maybe. I get in at least 5 or 6 miles a day. And I
That's
find
good.
that's I don't get on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like scales, but I know my clothes are kind of dropping off of me now. So I think that the walking, I had somebody tell me the other day talking about, she said, you looking like an old young man sagging, your pants sagging. I said, my pants ain't sagging. I got your pants sagging. I said, no, they're not. I have a belt on, but that's, I'm slimming down a little bit from those miles
she was
I'm
looking
putting
at
in.
she was looking at your booty. That's what she was.
No, she was.
Mr. Fleming, she was looking at your booty.
I had my belt on. I was like, if my pants sagging, what color was my drawers? I don't know. I said my pants were not sagging. I just
because she was looking at your pants sagging. She was looking at your booty.
I'm like, But I'm telling you that walking for me, I never thought that would be me. But after my knees, and I mean, I saw a guy running past me one day on the trail, and I'm thinking, how in the world could he be? He either he looks old as I don't know what, or I don't know how he got, because he sure looked 10 times older than me. And I'm like, this guy was out here. Yeah, he came by me running. I'm like, wow. So okay, but I gave up on that. I still do weights. I kind of first of all, I had a torn rotator cuff that I didn't want to have surgery on. I didn't want to get worked on, and so it's gotten real bad to a point where I went to the doctor a month ago, and he's like, you got to replace that shoulder. I'm like, man, he said, well, just go with it until it can't hurt anymore. He said, I wouldn't go no longer than 2 years, but you don't have to get it right away. But I'm like, he showed me, the how something like it wasn't no bone there or something. He showed. I'm like, wow. And, I can still move and do good. I just don't do I'm telling you what happened. What did that was trying to do pull-ups. And that will, people who could do pull-ups, you bad. If you could do 10, 20, yeah, that's beast, man.
That's my goal for this year. My goal this year is 100 push-ups and 100 pull-ups.
100 pull-ups when? Like in the whole year? Or are you talking about
like to be able to do it? To be able to do
100 pull-ups at one time?
Not like back. If I could do it back to back, but I feel like it would be maybe sets of 10.
I got you.
I have
that's
forever.
Yeah, that's David Goggins' thing. He's like, you follow David Goggins?
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes, do as many as you can, 10, 12, 15, stop. Then do as many as you can again, 5 more. Then do as many as you can again, 2 more. And you just keep going until you can't do it anymore. But I ain't touching the pull-ups no more. I'll let y'all do that.
I want it. I also want bar dips. So when you yeah. I want those.
I'm gonna tell you something. Even in high school, we had for football, and when off season at 2:00 we would go to the weight room for an hour and do bar dips and weights.
Yeah.
And they used to trip on me because at 2:00, because the coach went in there, we supposed to do it on our own. I used to sneak out, go home. I'm at home watching General Hospital. What? I hate doing bar dips. I mean, I just hated that with a passion. Everybody was getting their 250 shirt where they was benching 250. I wasn't doing none of that. I swear I hated bar dips.
Gosh.
Then they love to do that kind of bar dips. I don't.
Now, I've been lifting weights since I was like in the 10th grade. I was the only girl in the weight room, in this stinking locker room with y'all stinking football players. Just stank.
Really?
Yes. But I've been lifting weights since the 10th grade. I loved it. And I always wanted to be super strong. Like if I was honest about what I want, I kind of want to do figure. I really wanted to do bodybuilding.
Okay. But what happened?
Discipline.
Come
on, discipline.
I think you got married. You got married and started having babies. So
I did. Yep. I had the body for it. I feel like I still have the frame for it. I just don't have the discipline to do right. just
You
yet.
say you say
I
you
don't want
5'8", right?
I am.
Okay, so what was your thinnest weight at 5'8"?
130.
Okay.
130,
That's like model.
135.
That's like
Yeah.
model. No, model was like 110 or something. Like the models are real thin, aren't they?
I had probably maybe 5% body fat at that time.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I was
that was discipline, working out and all that kind of stuff. You was
a
were you
little bit of both, and I had gotten sick, so a lot of the
okay.
weight dropped off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Val, let's play that last clip and we talk about that.
There's a lot of leaders who are plagued by this, which is we have to do it. Why do we have to do it? Because look how much time and money we've invested.
There's a psychological bias, which I read about. Elliot Aronson, the psychologist, the American psychologist, one of my favorite. They got a group of people and they put them into a very boring book club. Very, very boring. Everyone in there was purposefully, intentionally dull. And then they asked them how good the book club was. And they all gave a score. So these people that were put into there. Then they got another group of people and they made them go through a rigorous testing process and surveys to get into the book club. The people that had done the rigorous testing and surveys and applications to get into the book club, even though it was dull and boring, reported that the book club was amazing and was much better than the people that hadn't fought to get in there. And it speaks to this kind of like sunk cost idea that leaders have, where just because we've worked hard on something, they trick themselves into believing that it is good and then it must be good. It's a psychological bias.
So you spend a lot of money, you work hard, you do all these things, maybe to get into this college. You get accepted, you'll get accepted as a sorority member or a fraternity, and then you say, oh, this is great. But do you really feel that way? Or do you, or is it because you went through all of that pain and suffering to get there? Now, because the same people who said the book club was boring, because they had to pass a test, get accepted, get approved, go through all the work to get back in that book club, now all of a sudden they like it. It's great. So do you see yourself, or do you see people that, you know, it's the same thing. Like, okay, you spend a lot of money to become a doctor, but then you don't even like being a doctor, but you wind up staying there because you did all that work to get there. What do you think about that?
It's actually one of our sales principles. So when you're selling from the front of the room, one of the strategies that I use is, and actually I learned this from Russell Brunson. He talks about when you go in front of the room, you tell stories, but you don't just tell them a principle and you don't just give them an offer. You tell them the journey. This is what I went through to be able to learn this lesson. Here's the pain. Here's the pitfalls. Here's the mistakes that I made. And now you're going to get to benefit from all of the things that I've been through. And then you present your offer on the back end of that. And the difference is, he said that when he first started teaching and he first started selling, he would give his presentation, he would give them such great value, and people were not responding. They were falling asleep during his presentations. They were not, he wasn't really making any money. But the moment he began to talk about the journey and the pain and the pitfall, he talks about, tell people how you learned it and how you earned it, what you had to pay, the price you had to pay in order to be able to give them what they have today. That it completely transformed his presentations. People are sitting on the edge of their seats. People are now rushing to the back of the room to buy whatever it is he has to sell. And I feel like that's what they're saying here. They're saying anytime you give somebody something for free, they don't value it. Yeah.
Wow. If you know, because that's the same thing. I like in college, I never pledged a sorority or fraternity, but I used to see how people just would wait because they got to see if I'm gonna get accepted. And they, you know, they do everything, and you know, they go through that, and when they get the acceptance letter or whatever, they feel so great about it. If, you know, I think I used to say this all the time. One of the challenges with network marketing is that there's no barriers. Anybody can join. Now, that's a good thing, but it's also, it's a blessing, and it's also a curse that anybody can join, because now you got anybody out here presenting things, anybody out here saying things, anybody out here. And those are the people that most folks see. And they make it seem bad or make it seem worse than what it really is, because you got somebody it gives the we said we're gonna stop using the term the little man, but it gives the person who probably, if it wasn't for that, no options at all. Now that still means that most people are not going to do what they do. I mean, do what they take to win, but they still have the options. But if there was a way, well, same thing with they talk about McDonald's. A person has to bring $1 million to the table. And so when they bring $1 million to the table to start that franchise, they can't quit 3 weeks in because they like, I invested too much. I'm in this thing too much. I can't just fall away. Kind of like what people do when they invest $200 or $500. They're like, you know, that was 3 weeks ago, so I can stop. But if you invest something and you put some skin in the game, then you're gonna, give it more work toward it. But then again, kind of like, is that a mental? Because when he was talking about in the book club, he's like, man, that was the same book club that these people were in. So is that a mental thing more than anything else? Then
I would say yes. I think it's both as well, because it's all about perceived value. Yeah. And so if something has a high perceived value, people treat it with the utmost respect. But, if
like
there's no
high-end cars, when they price them so high, then they don't advertise, they don't give out sales, like Gucci and all them saying, we're not gonna go on sale, or whatever those brands that people are buying. It gives them a feeling of, I have something.
Yeah, it's literally the difference between Toyota and Lexus, or Infiniti and Nissan. Like I want, I'm gonna go get me this Corolla, or I'm gonna go to the Lexus dealership and pay a lot more just for the name.
Right. It's for the name. Yeah, that's what people do.
Go get this Toyota.
Well, I'm kind of I'm kind of over the name stuff now. Matter of fact, I just sold my Benz the other day, and I'm gonna get me an SUV. I'm gonna get me
Get you a Nissan.
I want to get me an Explorer. I want to get a Ford Explorer. I like the Ford Explorer.
Oh, that car is gonna last you forever.
It's they say it's the poor man's version of the Range Rover.
Exactly. And the Range Rovers, people I know that have them hate them. They're like, I hate this car,
a lot of services. Yeah. But I like that Ford Explorer. I haven't driven one.
Is
nice.
Like they're nice. Yeah.
You say, what is it called? The Wagoneer.
Even the Wagoneer, all those are nice. They're very
What is a Wagoneer?
It's just a bigger version.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So man, I appreciate your time. Give us something on the way out the door that the world needs to hear about you and what you can do to help, and how you can, I don't know, give us something.
Yeah. So one of the things that my mentor, Dr. Cindy Trim, says is, she says, what one thing, or could things be the way they are because you are the way that you are? And so if you're unhappy with your life, if you're unhappy with the way things are going in your business, maybe you're the missing link. And when I say the missing link, I'm not talking about the fact that you're sabotaging or making things bad, but maybe you're not giving yourself and giving your business, giving your dreams all that you could. And so take this moment, take this time to think about, hey, how can I give my business, give me 120% more effort, more thought, more attention, more time, and when you're ready for that, I'm here to help you. Anything that you need in terms of marketing, development, I'm definitely here to support you. If you're a mother and you're working and you're managing your family, and not even just mothers, there's a lot of single fathers out there, but you're doing your best to raise your family and manage your career. I want you to know that you are not crazy. You are not on an island by yourself, but there are a lot of amazing, great people who are out here just like you. Never give up on your dream. Never give up on what's in here, and live to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace to live another day. Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna end with this. I stopped. I hadn't asked this question in a long time. I used to ask every guest that I had. I probably say my first 20 interviews. I asked this question at the end. Are you a sports fan?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Who's the GOAT? Michael Jordan or LeBron?
Oh my gosh, MJ.
He's a GOAT.
Yes.
Why you say that? You like
because
him better?
there would be no LeBron if there was not MJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
It's like what's most important, the chicken or the egg, you know?
Okay. I thought you was gonna say you like MJ style more than LeBron's.
No, his head big. Both of them got big heads.
But MJ was a creator. He was a style creator. He made the little short fat socks. Mm-hmm. He did that. His shoes are still, killing the game out here. He
absolutely. So that's why I say if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for Michael, there would be none of the others. He was a trendsetter. He was a pioneer in a lot of things in business, not just in the sport. And even with him crossing over and, leaving basketball, then coming back, he knew his ability and his capacity to master a thing and kill it. And so that's what I love about him.
Yeah, back in the day, his suit game was tight too. So
some big old suits.
I don't know about now, but that was then. That was the style then. He's still trying to wear them now, so they can't do that. So.
Oh yeah, that's past, brother. Saw the thing with him and Mary J. Blige. I'm like, nigga, that's the same suit you had on in 1993. I'm gonna need you.
Yeah, he's still wearing them. So, and the jeans too. Jeans. So yeah, he's still wearing them. He's still wearing them jeans too. So. But again, appreciate you. We're out of here. Another episode of Elite Psyche. Now, remember, y'all got to go subscribe. I'm at 6,000 subscribers. I want to have, my goal was to have 10,000 in 12 months. Now, I'm at my 9.5 months. I got about 2.5 more months left. We can get 4,000 more subscribers. I know you can. If you go do that, like it, share it, and do all that kind of stuff. Don't have me begging. If you don't do it, you know why? You a hater.
No, we need to have a contest. Okay, you need to have a contest. Okay. Yeah,
don't call them a hater.
Don't shame the people. Okay.
Well, they won't know.
Mr. Fleming is a bully.
So what's the contest?
Let's talk about what we're gonna do when you reach 10,000. Let's have a party. Let's find somewhere and have a party, either an online party or have an in-person party, which would be cool, even better.
In Atlanta, but what about people everywhere? They can't.
That's what I mean. They can come online. So you have an online party, then an after party, in person. That'll be nice, like an invite only. How about that?
There you go.
And then let's give away prizes. Let's give away a prize every next 1,000. So, and even also do like a share contest. So if someone shares the podcast, then, you can pick, somebody will win a book or,
here's my challenge. I don't even know if somebody shared. How would I know if they share?
Because they'll use your hashtag.
But how would I know that? All I know is how to get on here and talk. I don't know anything else. And what else would I'm telling you, I'm really archaic when it comes to this stuff. I'm just on here. Probably if my game was tighter, we would be at 20,000, but I'm not that guy.
Nah, you're doing well. You're doing well.
Val is helping me, my engineer.
Val is amazing. Shout out to Val.
She's keeping
you
me
got
on
it,
track.
girl.
Yeah, but I still need some more stuff So
it's gonna be a party. You can at least agree to a party online.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody.
Or the next 1,000 subscribers, I give out something. We'll figure it out. All right.
Yeah. Pick one of your subscribers and maybe an Amazon gift card or something, or whatever the book of the month is. Or let's get a t-shirt. Once you get a logo and a brand, you'll have an Elite Psyche t-shirt. Some merch.
I got you. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to work it out. All right, man.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. So we'll talk to you later. Another episode. Okay. Bye. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.